Mass shooting in Southern California, top issue now on the campaign trail as well. GOP candidates are in Washington today. This is, of course, Governor Mike Huckabee for the Republican Jewish Coalition Forum. And earlier in the Oval Office, President Obama also addressing the attack.
Yesterday, a tragedy occurred in San Bernardino, and as I said in the immediate aftermath, our first order of business is to send our thoughts and prayers to the families of those who've been killed. We are going to be vigilant, as we always are, in getting the facts before we issue any decisive judgments in terms of how this occurred.
Guy Benson is a Fox News contributor and the political editor of townhall.com. Attorney Jessica Ehrlich is a former Democratic congressional candidate. Jessica, we've heard from the president. They're really still trying to press this whole, statement that it's all about gun control. The problem with that statement today, one of many, is that they had an entire bomb-making factory going on here. They could have killed multiple people with the bombs that they had, even if they never had the guns. So how do you get around that argument?
Well, I think there's a multi-pronged argument that needs to be made. I mean, the gun control issue is certainly one part of it. And definitely having loopholes where people who are on a terrorist watch list can get guns is not acceptable.
They weren't.
Paul Ryan has his bill.
They weren't on a list.
Exactly. So it's not going to affect a situation like this where they've got, they had an arsenal of bullets and high weapons that they were able to use.
Yeah.
And if we're not able to somehow monitor that and also at the same time go back, which we just had come up again, the 9/11 Commission report, and look at the ways which not only local law enforcement but the FBI, the CIA, the State Department and Treasury are able to work together to make sure that we're able to monitor and know what is happening not only internationally but within our own shores, because clearly we have an issue here that needs to be addressed, and it can't be just, mentally ill people. These people are not mentally ill.
And it's not just about gun control, as we're finding out in this story, Guy. Listen, they could have killed a bunch of people with the bombs that they were making. And by the way, then are we going to shut down Walmart because that's where you can buy the parts?
There are a lot of logical holes in that argument, right? It's a convenient little box that you can focus on and say, oh, let's try to control guns more. But as you astutely point out, Gretchen, there's the bomb issue here. If they're not going to obey laws against making bombs, they're not going to obey laws against guns. Also, this shooting took place in California, a state controlled by liberal Democrats with some of the strictest gun laws in the country. A lot of the things that we hear about as so-called common sense reforms, already the case in the state of California, and yet this tragedy, this horrible shooting, took place anyway. And when you talk about increasing gun control laws, what you're really discussing is disarming law-abiding innocent people of their ability, A, to defend themselves, and B, exercise their constitutional
and it's
rights.
very interesting because on Black Friday, gun sales peaked. They spiked. Every 2 seconds, the FBI was doing a background check. That must tell us something about the feelings and emotions of people in this country. I want to move on to the political impact of this, because I want to play now Donald Trump from his impact of what happened yesterday. This is going to impact the election, no doubt. Listen to Donald.
We had another event which probably was, the one yesterday, probably was related. It always happens, but probably was. When I heard about it, I figured maybe not, but it turns out probably was related. Radical Islamic terrorism. And I'll tell you what, we have a president that refuses to use the term. He refuses to say it. There's something going on with him that we don't know about.
So he said that ISIS was contained, President Obama, and he claimed homegrown terror was a non-issue, Jessica.
Well, we have ongoing issues with radicalism that are happening and terrorism that are not just related to this one incident, because we just had another shooting on Friday. So it's part of what's happening here is more than just this terrorism issue where it's radical Islam. There is an issue going on where people have access to these assault rifles and weapons that are not the normal gun purchase that people are making at gun shows. Most people are not going out and buying AK-47s. So the situation is different. And I think what the president is trying to address...
That's not what happened. And I think a lot of people are still waiting for this president to admit what the real issue may be. Got to wrap it there. Guy and Jessica, thank you.